Canadians are entitled to the truth, and you can't hide behind unlawful redactions in a public inquiry, claiming baseless redactions on staff or correspondence because it may hurt you. And that, in my view, is what the government of Canada is doing.
Brendan Miller doesn't care what the press thinks. Watch his explosive interview after being ejected from the commission. Here's the clip.
Right there. The commission consistently directs that we are to make motions in writing. So we do so. We currently have two outstanding. The first is dealing with all of these redactions that the government of Canada has put on all of the staffers' correspondence, as well as the notes of Ms. Katie Telford, the Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. They have redacted these documents claiming they are irrelevant or that they are in fact subject to a cabinet confidence, despite the fact that the law is abundantly clear and undeniably clear that cabinet confidence does not apply to political staffers. These include the notes of Sarah Jackson, who is the office manager of Katie Telford, discussing the Emergencies Act, discussing the protest, discussing what they're going to do. These include the email responses from Minister Blair to his own Chief of Staff about why he did not accept the advice of law enforcement to carry out the plan that was before the IRG. The Government of Canada has continuously and every day dropped hundreds of documents on the parties, and the parties are frustrated. It is not just myself. They have tried to turn this entire proceeding into an inquiry about the failures of Chief Slawley, as opposed to actually about the invocation of the Emergencies Act. And my duty to my clients, and my duty as a lawyer, is to uncover the truth. We have also applied, and we applied before I asked the questions with respect to Mr. Brian Fox, to have him compelled as a witness. And we did that in writing. We applied to also now have Mr., I believe it's David Chan, who we found out was the individual who actually took the photos of the gentleman carrying the Confederate flag, of which he is also the photographer for the Prime Minister.
David Chan's not the right.
Well, I would disagree with you if you have you have an official photographer. Well, I understand there's an official photographer.
But that's not him.
So explain to us
why you've named Brian Fox.
Sure, Jan.
Because we have a witness in our application who had met the person with the flag, all right, on the day he was running around with it, and can identify him as Mr. Fox.
Who's that person?
It's in the application, and I'm not allowed to say yet because they won't release it to you. Our applications that we have made, applications that we have made, have still not been released by the commission.
Are you worried about getting sued, sir?
No, I'm not. Because guess what? Truth is a full defense, and we also have privileges for things of which we say in a courtroom. And the reason that exists is so that lawyers can do their job and witnesses can tell the truth. I don't care about Enterprise's little announcement yesterday. I could care less. If they want to bring that, I would be happy to do so and defend it and get discovery and get their records.
What are your odds of getting at the truth on this sidewalk?
Well, I can tell you the odds of getting at the truth, and a commissioner who has no compulsion powers at law directing that I leave a building, a government building where I am counsel, to a client whose rights to counsel are constitutionally protected.
Well, you're challenging his authority.
Well, I understand that. And I'm challenging the lawfulness of what's going on.
How would you describe your attitude?
Canadians are entitled to the truth. And you can't hide behind unlawful redactions in a public inquiry, claiming baseless redactions on staff or correspondence because it may hurt you. And that, in my view, is what the government of Canada is doing. And it needs to stop. And had we had a timely ruling on these redactions, this application made orally today would have been entirely unnecessary.
Is it your expectation to continue
Sorry,
in the
which the
proceedings?
application for Alex Cohen would have been entirely unnecessary, you said?
Correct.
Is it your expectation to continue in the proceedings today?
Yes. Well, it's my client's constitutional right to have legal representation of their choice.
Is there another lawyer as part of the team that could step in for you if you're not allowed back in?
Client's choice is to have me. And with respect to being thrown out of the building at the direction of the commissioner, there is no jurisdiction to do that either. So it is what it is. We'll wait and we'll see.
Is that your next steps then? You're just going to wait for some response from the commissioner now?
Response more so from security. It's up to security whether or not I'm allowed in the building, and it's up to the commissioner whether or not he'll abide by my client's constitutional right to have the lawyer of their choice and the procedural fairness and constitutional right to be heard before the tribunal.